welcome to another episode here of the Three Towers podcast. I'm Chris Griffith and
I'm John Butler.
We've been busy the last couple of months in a way, so apologies for that, but we're now back here, John, in the middle of winter. It's been pretty chilly, hasn't it?
It's been a bit cool lately, yeah.
However, here in the body corporate space, things are starting to warm up, John.
They are indeed.
Nominations and motions are in for the body corporate elections, which take place at the end of October.
Yep.
There's a few issues running around at the moment too, which have been quite interesting. We've seen the chairman, for example, put out another of his little missives, this time on the 4 apartments. We'll talk to you about that. But let's talk about elections. In October, we're going to have the election of 7 members of the Body Corporate Committee, and we're going to see owner motions put again. Hopefully some of them will get up this year, John. Last year was pretty terrible, wasn't it?
Let's hope so, yes.
In terms of the coming election, our group here are going to be fielding a number of candidates on a community ticket. And the idea is that we want to see more accountability in how money is actually spent here, what's done with it. And we want to see some expenses rein in, because although it's not going to happen quickly, we're going to see some big rises in levies in the coming year, in round about the middle of next year, isn't it?
Yes, the sinking fund forecast that arrived, a couple of months ago, says that our sinking fund levies should double from 2027. That's just next year that'll be proposed. Now, either the sinking fund forecast will be taken seriously because it's based on what money needs to be spent on what works to maintain our complex here. Either the levies will go up in accordance with the sinking fund forecast, or the committee will put off some vital maintenance works. And I don't think we want either of those. But there is an alternative, of course, and that's our 4 apartments. That
Money is a big issue at the election this year, because we are faced with, if not straight away, within a year or so, some pretty big rises in levies.
Yeah.
So what our team is saying is we want to have a lean operation in terms of spending so that we can save owners money on the one hand, but we want to make sure that our maintenance happens on the other. And we've had really big legal fees. We've had some quite unusual spending that doesn't need to occur. Yet on the other hand, we see some neglective maintenance around the place
yes,
as well.
this work needs to be done.
Our community team will be running on the theme of trying to keep levies as low as possible and reining in some of the excess spending, which we will talk about in a moment. Now, our team that's running, 5 people so far. We have Roy Manship, who's been an owner here for a long time. Taryn Kong, who been a tremendous asset. We've had Taryn around here only for a couple of years. She works at CSIRO. She's got a good accounting background, and she was the instigator of our challenge to some of the votes at the last AGM. So
yes,
she's
put in a lot of work there, a lot of effort.
A lot of work and a lot of effort. Paul Wong, who's putting his hand up for treasurer, has a good business background. It'll be invaluable to have someone of his experience on the committee. There's Jimmy Gia as well, and I've decided, John, to bite the bullet this year and stand for chairman.
You're doing it. I've done it a few years, but
Yeah.
I've never been quite successful. We could talk about why, but good on you.
Yeah, I thought, if I'm going to do it now, bite the bullet and really try and help run a campaign where we get out and speak to as many owners as we can, hear what they've got to say, and put out the message there that we really need a disciplined approach to spending, which also includes availability of owners to look at the general ledger so we can monitor spending. We just cannot do that.
No, we can't at the moment. That's been taken away from us. We used to be able to a long time ago, but the body corporate manager at the time decided, no, we shouldn't be looking at that, and deleted it.
And the result is we've seen like over $500,000 spent on legal fees over five financial.
It's an enormous amount of money. It's
Yes.
so unnecessary.
And we've also seen in the company that runs the 4 apartments, John, which is a company that's is the executive director, is the current chairman,
Yep.
some very strange accounting where we've, if you add up the legal fees and administrative fees of a company that does virtually nothing, around $300,000.
Yeah.
So it's the unknown of all those types of things that we think is front and centre at this coming AGM. There's also owner motions going up. There's one with electronic voting, to bring in electronic voting, which has got a little bit of broad support and may even get up there.
Well, we hope it will this time. One of our owners made an interesting observation. Why can't we have electronic voting if it's okay for the chairman to put out electronic newsletters at body corporate expense?
Well, otherwise, I guess he could get his typewriter out and just type them and photocopy them and send them.
Well, it actually pays the body
That's
corporate
kind of
manager.
a bit like how we vote here, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah. So electronic voting, I think, will be a great thing. And just remember, if you're one of those people who are really opposed to doing it because you think it's complicated, you'll always have the choice of putting in a physical vote if you don't want to use electronic voting. But I think overwhelmingly people will want that, particularly people who don't, owners who don't live here actually on campus.
Well,
they can put a vote into us from China or Iraq or the Middle East or US or Canada, wherever they live.
yeah, just by clicking a couple of keys anyone, anywhere in the world will be able to vote instead of having to photocopy and scan and sign and scan again and then try and send it.
Yeah. Now, I've put up a motion too on security because I think it's something that anyone I get to talk to here seems to talk about. Whether it be personal security, which is a big issue, particularly for women in the complex, because we've seen strangers somehow get their way up onto the residential levels, certainly in the foyer. Then we've seen the issue of parcels being pinched from the mail rooms around the place or being left in the foyers and being very tempted for people who want to take them.
Yeah, that's pretty common.
Yeah, so we've seen that, and of course there's been a bit of an issue around security even down in the basement car parks because of the roller door there being up a lot of the time. But certainly what I'd be suggesting is we want to get some kind of report or even among ourselves to put it together and look at what the options are and how much are they going to cost. For example, you could put Australia Post lockers outside, which is Australia Post system's a fantastic system. I use it all the time. I get on my phone notification, I've got a parcel waiting. I go down to Australia Post at Southport, use my phone to open the locker electronically and get the parcel, and it's as safe as houses. But that can't work all the time because some people are buying from or using couriers, of course, that will not deliver there. But you'd think they would deliver to the post office generally, you'd expect.
Sometimes they won't.
Yeah.
The post office these days is a bit far away for some people too. It's up the hill, over far away.
Some people have suggested we should have on-site security that was here a number of years ago. It will cost us money, but I think the way I'd look at it at the moment is let's have a discussion about how much it would cost and how beneficial it's going to be
And
before
how much
we
we
make
actually
it.
need
Yeah, and how much
to
we
feel
need.
safe.
We do have an issue here where, unlike a lot of buildings, there are 3 separate entrances to 3 separate towers, whereas a lot of buildings there's security on the one and only entrance to a building. That makes things a little bit more difficult, but I'd be inclined to think, let's put together what it would cost, what we'd get for it, and kind of make an informed decision on that. And I think another thing with security is a bit of information to owners about what they could do. For example, if they see people nipping into the lift or into the mailroom who don't seem to have their tags or don't seem to have them, then keeping an eye out can probably help to some extent.
Well, that was occurring in Building 1 just 2 nights ago, where a man was trying to follow a woman into the lift, into the foyer first and then into the lift. And then that left 2 other women standing outside because they were going to come in. So it could be a real issue.
The other thing that happened here is the chairman, using our body corporate money, has put out another chairman's missive, a letter to us all about how fantastic the 4 apartments deal is. This was a deal done in about 2021 where the body corporate invested $1.5 million roughly of owners' funds, without owners knowing initially, into a company which then bought 4 of the apartments here in the complex. It put the chairman of the body corporate, our current chairman, as the executive director of it, gave him virtually total sway over what he can do in that company.
Yeah,
There's nothing he can't do.
He owns the company, do what he likes. We can't touch him.
It's made some money, of course, because apartment prices have gone up, but actually it could have made more money, and we're starting to lose some money because the value of apartments have been going down a little bit, and we've got 4 of them. So if they went down an average of 40 or 50,000, there's 200,000 less that we recoup from them.
Adds up very quickly.
But the other thing is the mechanism of having this company, John, has proven a really bad idea. I don't know why they did that, because if we sell those apartments, we have to pay company rates on capital gains tax.
Yeah.
So we have to pay full, not half capital gains. The chairman's been insistent on, not selling the apartments. We're locked in, or he's locked in actually, to the AGM motions of not being able to say, well, the market's going down a bit, let's actually sell one of these, replenish the sinking fund with that. That might just give a little bit of relief to owners when we start to see these rises within the next year or so.
Yes, well, he's basically hiding behind an AGM motion that he and his committee put to the AGM to sell the apartments, of all things, but strongly recommended against it. It was really a crazy situation. So people just went along with his recommendation.
The irony is that what he's done is he's locked himself in, because apartment prices were peaking around Christmas time here. They were, even 2-bedders were getting in the high 9s, or a couple of the really nice ones even above that. That would have been the time to say, okay, let's sell an apartment.
Well, in fact, he is the sole director of the company. It's his company. He can sell them anytime he likes.
He could, in theory.
As chairperson, he says he's constrained by that AGM motion. But as sole director, he makes his own decisions.
Which actually means he has a conflict of interest in both roles.
Oh, absolutely.
Because company CEOs and executive directors are supposed to operate without any conflict of interest.
If he sat down and talked to himself, chairperson to director, he could probably sort this out.
Yes, he could, between himself and himself.
Yes, easy.
He was saying for new owners, it's a wonderful arrangement. We can say that whole structure they put together really fast in 2021 is coming back to really bite hard against us, because we're going to lose some of our profit when we do sell. His attitude to the market means we've probably lost the right, the top of the market. Of course, markets move up and down. Market could come back, but it could be quite some time.
It could be, I think, yes.
Yeah. Apart from that, there's a committee meeting coming up on August 27. Do inform the secretary if you'd like to go along. It's well worth you seeing, if you're a new owner, how the actual committee process runs here. And there's going to be a discussion on our insurance. Now, we use BCB brokers here. We pay more than $1 million in insurance fees for coverage over $1 billion nowadays. I mean, it's a very expensive operation.
It's not cheap at all.
There's been some real fallout in the body corporate industry across Australia because there's been monopolies operating. BCB, which we use as a broker, tends to have a group of companies there that has been accused in other jurisdictions of all sorts of things. The countervailing argument is, for a building this size, they're about the only broker out here that can manage that. But I don't know if that's totally true or not.
That's what we're told. That's what we're told, and the committee simply accepts that. The committee has said, we always use BCB, so we will continue to do so. Now, there's no way of telling if that's a good idea or not.
The body corporate actually advertised there's going to be some discussion about insurance on the 27th. It's probably happened before or after the committee meeting, but that's on the radar as well on August the 27th. What we're going to do is we're going to circulate in an email to owners a ABC Four Corners program a couple of years ago, which really dealt with this issue and exposed some of the problems that are happening in other jurisdictions.
A rival insurer, SCI, had withdrawn its offer to insure the building. But Mark Swain had approached SCI directly and he got a quote.
So I actually reached out and we received a direct quotation which was more cost effective than what we'd been provided by the broker.
Oh, that was scary, that one.
It was really scary. So it's worthwhile just understanding that insurance is a complex issue. It's also complex here because we have multiple body corporates that tend to, in the past, work together on the insurance. Because of the amount of money involved, yeah, it's an important issue. Go along on the 27th of August if you can, and look out for our email, which will give you a link to this ABC documentary, which
Yes.
I would suggest have a look at it for sure if you haven't seen that.
Yeah, please have a look at that one. It's very enlightening, and it affects where your money goes.
So that brings us to the end of this episode. We'll be announcing the community group. I've given you an indication who's going to be on it so far, but we'll be announcing that formally. We'll be having a launch sometime late this month or near the start of September, and a couple of events that I hope will be cheery events and, you know, a bit of getting together, having a snag or a sausage or whatever you have, and having a chat about body corporate matters and everything else.
Yeah, just one more word on the committee meeting that's coming up. An extra reason for owners to go along is that the nominations for committee membership are on the agenda, as are owners' motions for the AGM. It's a good opportunity for you to learn something about what's happening, what's going to happen.
And in episodes of the Three Towers podcast, as we get closer, we'll chat about some of these motions, the background to them, what they're trying to achieve, because we're hopeful more owners will vote for them. We'll get some of them across the line because they will actually contribute to a better quality of life, if you like, here.
Yeah. Let's
in
make
the towers.
this the first AGM that owners' motions got approved.
Absolutely, absolutely. So that's all for today. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for watching right to the end. I see on YouTube people nowadays say that. Thank you for watching to the end.
Is that right?
That's all right.
Or TV news. Thank you for being with us tonight.
Yeah, something like that. Okay, bye from me.
And it's bye from me.
Cheerio.